What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Q-Tip, and we're back with another video. We are here to talk about all of the movement that has happened in the WNBA over the past week, really over this past weekend. But there was a big trade last week that we haven't covered yet, so we're going to get into that, and we're going to get into all the different free agent moves that have been made, what those mean, and maybe a little bit about the draft tonight. Let's get right into it. Angel Reese was traded to the Atlanta Dream for just 2 first-round picks in 27 and 28. Interesting trade for the Sky, especially since they've made some moves in free agency that make it look like they're still trying to compete/contend. So I am a little confused as to what their direction is completely. But for Atlanta, this is an amazing trade. Obviously, you get one of the best players, one of the best offensive rebounders, defensive rebounders, a great defender, a very versatile offensive player as well. Next to Bree Jones in the front court. Good luck stopping them. I saw Candace Parker and Aaliyah Boston talking about it on their podcast, and Aaliyah Boston was like, I'm going to box out one of them. Somebody else got to box out somebody else. So that's really what it's going to be every night, is just trying to keep both of those players off the glass and having to be physical with them every time you play against them. And then obviously they still have great players on the perimeter, and Alicia Gray, who they re-signed, and Ryan Howard as well. And they also re-signed Jordan Canada, who was their starting point guard last year when she wasn't injured. So they still look like a team that is going to be firmly in the mix to compete for a championship. Obviously, I want to see them beat some of the better teams that they struggled to beat last year. I don't remember the exact stats or record against the teams like the Lynx, the Lynx, the Aces, the Liberty, and who was the 4? Maybe Phoenix. I think Phoenix might have been a 4, but there was just some teams that they didn't play well against. And if they want to win a championship one day, that's the teams they're gonna have to get through. So it's gonna look a little different this year. Some of these teams are gearing up to be better. I expect the Sparks to be better. I expect the Wings to be better. I expect the Fever to be healthy, so they'll be better. I expect the Aces to still be the Aces. The Liberty are going to be better. Don't know about Seattle, but Phoenix could still potentially be in that mix with still having Alyssa Thomas, but time will tell on a lot of these teams. Even somebody like Golden State, who was a playoff team last year, picked up Gabby Williams. That's a big pickup for them. So, there's a lot of things that we still don't know fully, but some of these things you look at and you're like, okay, I can see why this team did this. I can see why that team did that. I can see why Chicago traded her, just because of all the comments and the back and forth and everything that happened last year versus what you got back for her. That's what I'm more kind of confused by. And then what you did once you let her go, kind of. But we'll get into that as we talk about the different moves. Satu Sabali, well, she announced that she wasn't returning. We'll get to that. These were announcements. Neko Gumike is returning to the Los Angeles Sparks. Shout out to my guy Bailey. No, he's super happy about this. This is big for Nneka just because obviously she played her first 12 seasons there, won an MVP, won a championship. So obviously her heart is there. She probably didn't really want to leave when she did, but there were a lot of reasons why players were leaving LA at that time. Obviously Candace Parker also left before her. Chelsea Gray also left. So there was a lot of things going on there, and obviously it seems like it's been better over the past couple of years. And putting her next to Kelsey Plum, De'Erica Hamby, is going to be really fun. Now, one of the moves that I was confused by was the trade for Rickea Jackson for Ariel Atkins with Chicago. Is they went young, but then they went and signed Skylar Diggins. So that was a move that once Rickea Jackson got traded, it made sense that Nneka was coming here, because then Nneka and Rickea would have been playing the same spot. You have Cam Brink, so that's your center of the future, power forward of the future, whatever you want to play her at. And then obviously you could play Nneka. You still have De'Erica Hamby, so those would be your front court for the future. And then you still have Kelsey Plum, and now you have Ariel Atkins. So you can really, you have your starting 5, and you can just build around that from here on out. And I actually don't mind them letting Rickea Jackson go to a team where she's going to play and she's going to be she's gonna get the opportunity to be a star with the talent and potential that she has. So can't really say anything about that trade too much. Obviously, Ariel Atkins is a very good player in her own right. Super valuable in terms of championship experience. Good two-way player, can shoot the three ball. Not gonna take the ball out of anybody's hands, but also is a capable scorer off the dribble and things like that too. So big for her. Marina Mabrey and Brittany Sykes both signed with Toronto. Marina Mabrey was drafted in the expansion draft by Toronto, so she just ended up signing a 2-year deal at the max, and then so did Brittany Sykes. So that's big for them. I can't tell you exactly who's on their team at this current moment besides them two, because it's kind of hard to remember who's on Portland's team and who's on their team. They have Julie Alamont, who I'm a big fan of. If you know me, you've heard me talk about her for years. They did sign Isabel Harrison over the last couple of days. They drafted Aaliyah Nye. They drafted Nyara Sabali. They drafted Christy Wallace, I believe. No, I think they might have signed her. They drafted Maria Kond. They drafted... I don't think they drafted Lexi Hale, but I could be wrong. Nicolina Milic, I think they signed as well. They have some good players. Obviously, you want to see what the overseas players, what they bring to the table, because this is similar to the team that was Golden State last year, of a lot of European players and some younger players around there, and you just kind of figure it out from there. But having a Marina Mabrey and a Brittany Sykes really helps you push that forward because of how good they can be. Then we have Alyssa Thomas re-signing with the Mercury, which is big for them. Bree Jones re-signed. Alicia Gray re-signed. So did Jewel Lloyd. Big 3-year max deal for her to stay with. Actually, I don't know if it's the max, but 3 years for $2.2+ million. So it could be the max. I don't know for sure. That's big for them because she played a lot better in the second half of the season and in the playoffs. So if she's able to keep up, the play that she had at the end of last year, they look like they could be going back to back. Now, as Hillman resigns with the Atlanta Dream, which is huge for them because she's very important to what they do off the bench and in terms of off the court as well, with being best friends with Ryan and Alicia. Arike re-signed with the Wings, 7-figure multi-year deal. Kelsey Mitchell re-signed with the Wings, with the Fever. Natisha Heidemann, in a surprise, signed with the Seattle Storm in a 2-year deal. She's been a big player for the Lynx over the past couple of years, and obviously people have grown to love her and Courtney Williams because of the Stud Buds. Courtney Williams has decided to stay with the Lynx, so they will not be teammates anymore, but I'm sure they'll still figure out and find ways to, grow that brand as much as possible. Jess Shepard signed with the Wings, which we saw as soon as that happened, a lot of people started posting the video of Paige Beckers when they were playing against Minnesota last year, where she was like 15 travels every time she touches the ball. And then obviously, Paige Beckers, being who she is, poked fun at that by posting it on her Instagram and saying welcome 15. So I do think Jess Shepard can help this team a lot, especially with the versatility that she brings on both sides of the ball. I think that'll be really big for them. Elizabeth Williams re-signs with the Chicago Sky, which makes sense, I would have been shocked if she had left, but I guess, I would have been shocked because Camila Cardoso, she could just back her up. Chelsea Gray re-signed, not surprising at all. Jordan Canada re-signed, not surprising at all. Brittany Griner signed with the Connecticut Sun, which was kind of surprising, just because Connecticut wasn't very good last year, and I don't know how much better they'll be this year, but maybe she wanted to get more playing time than she did last year. I'm not completely sure, honestly. To be completely honest with you, I don't fully understand this move. I know Connecticut is going to soon be the Houston Comets, so maybe she's just a year early in that. I'm really not completely sure. Azrae Stevens is signing a 3-year deal with the Chicago Sky. I like this for her. Obviously, once Nneka went to LA, that would have closed the door on her being a starter And with Chicago, I think she could still be a starter next to Rikia and Camila Cardoso. I think she can play that 4 and still be a really good defender, space out for 3, and things like that. Do or be a better space than what Angel Reese was next to Camila Cardoso, and they don't really play the same style. So maybe that is a little bit better to put next to Camila Cardoso. Lexi Hull re-signed with the Fever. J.C. Sheldon was traded from the Mystics for a first-round pick. Chicago's first-round pick. So she was traded to Chicago. Sorry. Interested to see how that goes because she got traded there. They still have Haley Van Lith, and they re-signed Courtney Vandersloot. So curious to see how that looks. And obviously they traded for or signed Skylar Diggins as well. So a little curious there about the situation. Like you trade a first round pick for a point guard, and then you sign a point guard. Hey, it is what it is. De'Arca Hamby is returning. Mo Billings is going to the Fever. I like this for her. I think she can do a little bit of what Timmy Fack-Benley has done over the last few years for them. Maybe a little bit better. As long as she stays healthy, she's super athletic and is really good on both sides of the ball, so she'll be a really great player to play next to Caitlin. Satu is signed with the New York Liberty, which is a huge move. My boy Bryce was actually early on this. He called her going there last year. Obviously, she did not. She went to Phoenix. But I do think this puts her in a position to where she doesn't have to be, I don't say she doesn't have to be available, but she doesn't have to be like fully healthy for her team to be great. She knows what this team can do, whether or not she's on the court. But her being on this team, her being on the court, playing next to very unselfish players like Sabrina and Stewie and Jonquel, and just versatile players all over the court. I don't know exactly who their starting 2 would be. I guess Phoebich. So if you put all 5 of them on the court at the same time, that's a really good defense and very athletic and very versatile. So I'm really curious to see what this team looks like if they're all fully healthy. Jonquel Jones is re-signing, like I said. Shakira Austin has signed a 3-year offer sheet with the Tempo, and the Mystics have 2 days to match the offer, and that was on April 11th. Today is April 13th. I haven't seen anything saying that they've matched, so I think she might be with Toronto, which would be really big for them because that'll give them just another player that has WNBA experience and can come in and be a day 1 starter. Erica Wheeler signed with the Sparks. She was big for the Storm last year in the playoffs, so I like this for them. Veronica Burton signed a multi-year deal to return to the Golden State Valkyries. I love that for her. She was phenomenal last year, and really, proved to be a WNBA starter in this league. And that's really on the cusp of being nearly out of the league. I mean, out of the league a few times and back in. So major props to her. Bridget Carlson officially signed signed a 3-year max deal with Portland. She was their number 1 pick in the expansion draft, so that means they have a lot of faith in her. And I really like this opportunity for her just to see what more she can do. That doesn't necessarily mean she has to be the number 1 option or anything like that. I just think them putting the faith that they did in her is big for her confidence and could push her to another level. Not saying that, but we saw Kayla Thornton last year go from somebody that was looked at as a role player to be an all-star. So there's potential that could happen. Portland, I think, has some interesting players. Obviously, one of my favorite players, Haley Jones, is on the team. But I think when you look at the team that's around her and the way that a lot of these players can play, I think they can play a really fun style of basketball. They drafted Sarah Ashley Barker. They drafted Chloe Bibby. I think they drafted Maya Caldwell. They drafted Emily Inksler, if I'm not mistaken. Geisel Soder they also drafted. They signed Megan Gustafson. They drafted Carla Late, Nika Mule, Naidu Pouch. I don't know what they did with Chick Sutton, not gonna lie. And they picked up Carly Samuelson. So this is a team that I think is really interesting. I think Haley Jones can play 1 through 4. I think Carla Lake can play either the 1 guard or the 2. I think Bridget Carlson is going to be able to play multiple positions. She can play 2 through 4. Sarah Ashley Barker could be in a spot where she really gets to grow as a player. And I love Carly Samuelson's game. I do wish that Nika Mule was healthy. Obviously, she went down with another injury and she'll be out for the season. But this would be the perfect kind of team for her to just kind of just go out there and just play great defense and be gritty and just muck things up when she's out there. And I would love to see that for her. So hopefully she's able to come back healthy and play a meaningful role for this team in the future. Ty Harris signs with the Fever. I like that as like the backup point guard for her, or for Caitlin and Kelsey and whatever. Just somebody that just understands the game, plays really well, can shoot the ball, is a good player in the pick and roll. So it gives you a very steady option off the bench at the point guard role, which you always need. Kennedy Burke is signing with the Connecticut Sun. Steph Dolson is signing with the Seattle Storm. Cheyenne Parker-Tyus is re-signing with the Aces. She didn't play a ton last year because she had her kid, and she really came. I think she played like the last 2 regular season games, and then played a few playoff games, but not a ton. But I'm assuming she'll be fully healthy and ready to go this season, which makes Vegas even better. They're probably the favorites at this point, probably between them and New York. Atlanta Smith signs a 3-year max contract with the Dallas Wings. Absolutely love this for Dallas. I love Atlanta Smith's game. She's one of my favorite players for the last couple of years, and I think she brings versatility defensively, and she brings the ability to be able to play the 4 and the 5. Like if you're playing Leah Rue, she can play the 4. If you're playing just Shepard, she can play the 5. They also got a walk to come back this year, so both of them can play together. I just think adding Atlanta Smith, what she can do defensively and what she can do offensively, just opens up so much for your team. Sophie Cunningham signs with the Fever. Kelsey Plum signed a $999,000 deal to return to Los Angeles Sparks. Isabel Harrison signed with the Toronto Tempo. Gabby Williams signed with the Golden State Valkyries, which I think is a big spot for her to really be the number one option offensively, I think. And obviously with what she can do defensively, she's a Defensive Player of the Year candidate every year. So I think Golden State is going to be better than they were last year just because of the experience that a lot of those players have. They're able to bring back a good bit of those players, and adding someone like Gabby Williams I think is going to be just exactly what they need. Courtney Williams re-signing with the Lynx. Courtney Vandersloot re-signed with the Sky. Kyla Charles re-signed with the Valkyries. Ileana Rupert, Janelle Salon, and Cecilia Zandalazini re-signed with the Valkyries, who I just mentioned. And I love Cecilia's game. I think she was great last year, especially towards the end of the season. Janelle Salon had a really good stretch during the season. Ileana Rupert was kind of in and out, being overseas and playing for her team or her country and things like that. So she didn't play a full season, but she's shown flashes that she can be a really good player. So I'm interested to see how that goes. Ezzy Mamgore stays with the Storm, which is big for them, in my opinion. If she had left, obviously they have Dominique, but I think Ezzy has been so underrated over the last couple of years of just how good she is defense. She reminds me of Bam on the NBA side, of just being so good defensively that you kind of take for granted what she's able to do offensively, and that really wasn't supposed to be what her game was about. But she's gotten better offensively every year, in my opinion, and the defense has always been phenomenal. Caitlin McBride re-signs with the Lynx. She's injured currently, so I don't know when her or Fee will be back, so that's big for the Lynx. Nia Coffey is signing with the Lynx, which is big for them since they don't know when those players will be back. Also, Natasha Howard is re-signing, coming back to the Lynx after winning some championships with them, or a championship with them in 2017. Dejanay Carrington is going to the Sky, which another interesting move because, never mind. I'm just confused as to what the Sky are trying to do, but maybe I don't need to know. I'm gonna try to say these names right. The Czech duo Aliska Hamzova and Emma Kecheva signed with the Minnesota Lynx. I don't know a ton about them. Not gonna pretend like I do, but I will be doing research about them before the season starts so that I am knowledgeable about what they are capable of doing. Jade Melbourne is signing. I don't know why I'm reading it like that. Signed a 1-year deal with the Seattle Storm, so she's going back to Seattle, and I think that's big for them because they don't really. Natisha Heidemann is there, but I think Jade Melbourne could be the starting point guard there and be really good for them. Meg Gustafson signed with the Fire. Emma Cannon signed with the Sparks. Kalia Kuiper, DeWanna Bonner, and Sammy Wickham all re-signed with the Phoenix Mercury. Alyssa Smith re-signed with the Aces, who she was really good for them last year. She was a key to them turning it around in the second half of the season and getting to the finals and winning. Kayla Thornton re-signs with the Golden State Valkyries. She was an all-star and then got hurt. The Aces also re-signed Dana Evans, who was another big player for them in the playoffs. Rebecca Allen and Paula Astier signed 1-year deals with the New York Liberty. Jewel Lloyd, I already said that. Breonna Turner and Stephanie Talbot also signed with the Aces. And I like both of those players. Breonna Turner is a great defender. And Stephanie Talbot is somebody that can defend and shoot the ball at a really high level. So, that is free agency moves so far. If I missed one, let me know in the comments. As far as the draft goes, I'm not going to say like, oh, this player should go number 1, or I'll be shocked if this player doesn't go number 1, because it's really, you just never know. The number 1 pick, I think it could be easy. I think it could be Hall Fam, and I guess could be Olivia Miles. I don't really understand the Olivia Miles lore as far as Dallas, because you have Paige, who plays the 1, but also can play the 2. We've seen that a lot in college. But if you bring in Olivia Miles, you're playing Olivia Miles at the 1, Paige at the 2, and Enrique at the 3. I don't know. I think Paige is a really good defender, but I don't think you would want Paige to be your best perimeter defender on the court with your best 5. You know what I mean? And I guess it would be the same way if AZ Fudd was out there, but I think AZ Fudd brings a little bit more on the defensive side. Well, I wouldn't say a little bit more. I think she brings a lot more on the defensive side than Olivia Miles does. But again, I don't make these decisions, so if they choose to go that route, they go that route. Now that they brought in Alana Smith, Jess Shepard, and Awak is coming back, I think they feel okay, and they still have Liggy Rue, who I'm a big fan of. I think they should be okay with going guard here. I think best fit would be AZ Fudd, because you can just slot her right in at the 2. You can move Enrique to the 3, and you can play like that. And then as far as Minnesota goes, I would look at as far as Minnesota goes, then they would probably go Olivia Miles there. They need a point guard. I would go Olivia Miles. And then the 3rd pick would be... let me see. The 3rd pick would be freaking... oh my goodness. Who was the 3rd pick? I'm blanking. Seattle? Is 3rd pick Seattle? 3rd pick is Seattle. I don't know if they would go Hall Fam though. So they would probably go. I mean, they're probably hoping that they don't go guards the first 2 picks, which maybe the Lynx go Hall Fam instead. Like if AZ Fudd gets taken number 1, they go Hall Fam. If Hall Fam goes number 1, then they take AZ Fudd, and then that would send Olivia Miles to Seattle. The Mystics would then be able to draft Lauren Betts, who they could pair with Kiki Iriafin, who were once teammates at Stanford. I could see that happening. I could also see potentially... No, I don't know if they would go Flau'jae there. They would probably go Lauren Betts. I think Flau'jae would go 5 to Chicago. And then you would have Toronto, Portland back-to-back. I really think Portland should go Gianna Neepkins. I think she's going to be the steal of the draft. I think if she can go from 6 to 8, maybe even 9. Really, if she can go 6 through 10. Let's just put it that way. If she goes 6 through 10, I think she's in a really good spot. Well, I guess 6 through 11, because Mystics have 9, 11. Yeah, they have 4, 11, and 9. So, yeah, I think she goes 4 through 11. Or somewhere 6 through 11. I think she's in a really good spot. I think Gabby Hawkins will go to one of these teams as well, and I think she'll fit in perfectly almost anywhere she goes, just because of the versatility that she brings and how well she plays. I am interested to see where Cody McMahon goes. I've seen her on a lot of different draft boards all over the place. Somebody like Marta Suarez, I think, is a pro-ready player, so I think she could go earlier than some people are thinking. Kiki Rice is another player that's like pro-ready, like play the 1 or the 2. Tonight Latson, another pro-ready player, pro-ready scorer. Interested to see where she goes. Raven Johnson as well. I think Raven Johnson is going to be a really good pick for whoever she goes to. If you need a point guard and Olivia Miles is off the board, I'm probably looking at Raven Johnson next. Dugalich, I think, is a pro-ready player. I think Rory Harmon is going to be better than a lot of people think, just because of the defense that she can bring. The only thing about her is just the jump shot, but I think the jump shot can eventually get there if you work with her on it. Four players that I would love to see get drafted. Peyton Verhulst from Oklahoma. I would love to see her get drafted and hopefully make a roster. I would love to see Maggie Dugan get drafted, hopefully make a roster, and I would love to see Brooklyn Meyer get drafted and hopefully make a roster. Another player is Saylor Parfenbarger, who played at Maryland. Would love to see those 4 players get drafted and get an opportunity, at the very least, to stick on a team. I think Layla Filia could stick on the team as well, just being the two-way player that she can be. Tiani Key, I think this past year was big for her, and the things that she showed that she was capable of doing, especially being at 6'5" and being able to be a player that can get the rebound and go. So it'll be interesting to see where she lands. Sarah Williams is much better than she played this year, so I'll be interested to see if teams draft based on past years and not just this year. Grace Van Sluten is another good player. Would love to see her get drafted somewhere and be able to potentially stick on a roster. Let's see if I'm missing anybody. Laura Ziegler, I think, could go. She's, for ESPN, she's ranked 51. I think she can go higher than that. Saylor Poffenbarger is ranked 62. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, I mean, this one said Pauline Astier is ranked 72, but she's drafted, or she just got signed, if I'm not mistaken. Did I not just read that she got signed in New York? So did Emma Ketcheva. She got signed as well, so I guess that's 2 spots that won't need to be drafted. I don't know, man. Kennedy Basham, interesting choice. Jaylen Brown out of Michigan State, I think, could be a nice pickup for somebody as well. Amaya Battle, oh my goodness, yeah, definitely want to see Amaya Battle get drafted somewhere and stick on a roster. I think Amaya Battle is a lot better than she's been given credit for the last couple of years. Well, I say last 4 years, every year that she was in college. Man, some of these players, it's just like Elle Evans. Elle Evans was a sharpshooter out of Kansas, 6'3", can shoot the ball really well. Kind of similar to Katie Lou Samuelson, really. So there's a lot of players. Lena Santoff, wasn't she at yeah, she was at UCLA before. Yeah, there's a lot of really good players. It's always kind of sad this time of year. Is like, I mean, the WNBA is not the end all be all, because you can go play overseas if you really want to play basketball, but it does kind of suck a little bit to see some of these players that you watch for so long in college like not get picked up. Like El Ladine, I would love to see get drafted. Yeah, so it's the hard part of the draft is, there's going to be players that don't get drafted. There's going to be players that get drafted that you're not expecting. And a lot of times the last couple of years they've drafted European players that they're not even sure are going to come over, just because if they don't come over now, they don't have to put them on the roster. They don't have to waste a roster spot. So I'm hoping with more teams coming in, it'll be easier for players to get drafted and stick. And it'll also be easier for, I think they have like 2 developmental spots now, if I'm not mistaken. I have to read the CBA completely, but I'm really hoping that over the next couple of years, the players that have not been able to make the league over the last couple of years are able to get a spot, because there's enough spots now. Because coming into last year, there was only 144 spots. You added 1 team, so it was 156. You added 2 teams, so that's 168, and then 180. So this year there's 180 spots, and a lot of the spots are already filled, obviously. So I'm really hoping that some of the players that we've seen in college over the last couple of years are able to find a spot and stick. Like 2 players that last year that I wanted to see get drafted was Talia Bonner-Hoffman and Gabby Gregory. I don't think either one of them got drafted, but they went and played overseas and did really well over there, or are still doing really well over there. So if they really want to play basketball, they can play overseas, obviously. But for us, it's kind of hard to keep up with players that play overseas because not everything is accessible unless you play in the Australian League or you play. I guess maybe it's the EuroLeague where they play overseas during the WNBA off season. But this is now a 30-minute video, so I'm going to end it. But I appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Obviously, we'll be back tomorrow to talk about the WNBA draft and who are the winners and losers, in my opinion. And obviously, you'll be able to drop that in the comments as well. But I appreciate you guys for watching.